You're listening to the Hidden Killers podcast.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Bruschi.
Virginia mother sentenced to nearly 80 years in prison after she murdered her daughters to spite her ex-husband. There obviously is no good justification there where the word is to, but that is what it is, to spite her ex-husband. Mm-hmm. This is the story of Veronica Youngblood. You may have heard of it a little bit. Virginia mother was just sentenced now to 80 years in prison for fatally shooting her two daughters after slipping them melatonin-laced gummies. Apparently what the melatonin's going to help ease the pain. I mean, I guess it kind of makes you sleep a little bit, but yeah. Prosecutors said that Veronica Youngblood killed Brooklynn Youngblood, who's 5, and Sharon Castro, who was 15, when she could no longer use the girls as leverage over her ex-husband. Ron Youngblood claimed the killings were a last-ditch effort to elicit agony on him. Those girls were leverage to her, leverage to get what she wanted from me. The 52-year-old Navy veteran said she obviously knew those girls were the most important things in my life. The Youngbloods had been living in Virginia and were planning to relocate to Missouri with their girls in 2018. Veronica Youngblood backed out of the move last minute, saying she wanted to stay in Virginia with her daughters. However, he said a judge ruled that Brooklynn, Ron's only biological daughter, could still accompany him to Missouri. When the judge made the decision I could leave with Brooklynn, she saw that she had no more tools to use against me, so she decided to get rid of them, he stated. After sedating the girls, Veronica Youngblood gunned them down and murdered them as they slept in the apartment on August 5th. As her eldest daughter was dying, Veronica Youngblood called her ex-husband to tell him that she hated him and had shot their children. She could do one thing that could really hurt me, and she said, I've been trying it for years and wasn't successful at it until she murdered my girls. Ron said, I wouldn't put it past her that she would try to do something to me, but never thought she would have done something to the girls. See, that's what a lot of parents don't think about when it comes to the kids. If the offender or the dangerous person, if you for a moment think they are capable of doing something to you, they're capable of doing something to your kids, even if it's their kids. Just
and
so
that hate is so deep.
Yeah.
You know, she hates him and she wants to get even with him, get back at him, get him. And what's the worst thing she could do? Kill the girls.
Yeah.
And he has to live with that forever.
Without a doubt. Yeah. It's
so beyond horrific. Mm-hmm. It's not even about the children. It's about getting him.
Yeah, it's like about hurting him
the worst way.
That's exactly.
They're just collateral damage because that happens just to be the worst way she could get to him. Mm-hmm. That's psychotic. Like that's sociopathic. Like that is. She definitely is not a normal person, but she is so mean and hateful that I think she deserves to be locked up forever.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, and I feel horrible for him. He's probably going, well, if I would have just done this, or if I would have,
all the woulda, coulda,
if I would have acted this way, or if I would have, if I thought she could have killed me, I should have thought that she could have done that. It's obviously it's not his fault. He's other than the dead girls, he's the other victim in this horrible tragedy. And yeah, I mean, it's something. It's when you're in those relationships, and it's easy to try and, well, it'll be okay. This will be, it'll work itself out this way or that way. They demonstrate that they're able and capable of trying to hurt one of the kids. You get your fucking kids out of there. Period.
Absolutely.
And or yourself, you get the fucking kids out of there. Don't rely on them to be good to your kids, because they probably won't be. And you do everything in your power to make sure that person does not have the ability to go down a road like this. I know I'm just speaking, I'm speaking to other parents out there who have maybe in a similar situation going, wow, that sounds, somewhat relatable. Yeah, it happens. It happens.
And you like to think like, there's no way that person would be capable of that.
Yeah.
She hates me, and I get that, but she would never do anything like that. I don't know about that.
Happens. It does. It's scary as shit. She could do the one thing that could really hurt me, and that she's been trying. Okay, I got that part. Brooklynn was shot in the head, died at the scene. Sharon was struck in the chest and back and later died at the hospital. The teen had managed to call 911 to inform the dispatcher that her mom was the shooter. After hearing the call during the 2-week trial, jurors were so traumatized that they asked if they could receive therapy. Ron, and right after Carol told me that off the air before we started, I said, can we find the 911 call?
And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it.
I don't really want to hear it either, but I am.
Hear it.
Yeah. Ron Youngblood believed his ex-wife murdered his girls because she left, because she felt that she could use them to control him any longer. Yeah. So, yeah, jury ended up finding her guilty on those charges. They heard testimony during the sentencing in the murder that mom grew up in poverty, was physically and sexually abused as a youngster, and turned to sex work to support her eldest daughter. Okay. We make choices, though, too. We're adults. And yes, horrible upbringing. That's, not a good thing.
Bad for you.
Lead to very bad decision-making and all that. But again, at the same point, we all become grown-ups at some point. And if you're able to put out 2 kids, you are officially an adult. And you can't always just go down the road of, well, my past did this. You're right. It could explain some of your behavior, but it certainly does not discount or excuse accountability for your actions, which she'll be rotting in jail for 78 years.
Because once again, this is one of those stories that it wasn't a crime of passion. It wasn't just she snapped. And she gave the girls gummy, melatonin gummies so they would fall asleep faster, probably sleep harder.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere where she had purchased the gun like 9 days before then. So it makes you wonder that she might have been thinking about using the gun for this all along. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What about the gun?
There seems to be some premeditation, even if the gun was just bought for her own safety and she hadn't thought about it at that time. She did give the girls gummies to make them sleep and then shot them while they slept. It seems rather premeditated.
Oh, like she got the gun out in time just to have it ready for whatever fucking thing she was plotting?
Yeah.
They don't do that. Oh, wait, they do. They do that. That does happen. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of another red flag when someone requests to have the firearms out in accessible reach a few weeks prior to said incident. And then suddenly, oh, look how convenient that was for them. Mm-hmm. Another red flag. Just saying. If you're out there and you're in a relationship and this is kind of where it's headed, beware. People be very fucking careful because, been down that road before and I'm happy I'm way the fuck out of it. But it's scary as shit. It is scary as shit when someone tries to perpetrate that stuff on you. And certainly mental illness plays a big role, but people are people
Can't
too.
Excuse it.
Yeah.
Still responsible.
And that's the biggest problem because nobody ever wants to take responsibility.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.